Meet Carl Cimino. Carl is the director here of the training center. And when we set this up, Mike and I came and toured it. It's very impressive. So you're going to learn some great training techniques, and you're going to build a lot of confidence that when one of his trained guys shows up at your facility, you're going to have a high level of confidence because you're going to see the way they train these.
We have 3 different trade tracks: plumber, steam fitter, refrigeration, air conditioning. Engineering groups will come and use the facility, and we'll give tours as our way of outreach so that people can come and see the commitment that we have to training here at Local 393 and what the difference is when you're bringing on a union tradesman. This is our soldering and brazing lab. This is where we're giving instruction for the medical gas installer certifications for all our apprentices. This is our arc welding lab. We have 21 booths, and we do instruction on stick, MIG, and TIG welding. So this is a certified facility. Our members can come here and practice. This is our orbital welding lab. We like to train on these because it promotes better understanding. It's kind of like having somebody, teaching somebody how to add and subtract before you give them a calculator. And the smarter machines are over there where they can actually come up with a program and keep it on a disk and go from machine to machine with the disk. This is our basic electricity and DDC control lab. And what we've done in here is we've taken parts and pieces that would normally inhabit an air conditioning unit, and we've mounted them on these cards. And based on whatever exercise the instructor's doing that night, they'll put these cards on their own workstations, and they'll hook them up using these little wire tails. The reasoning behind this was that we wanted what they were doing on the job site to reinforce what they saw here, and what they saw here to reinforce what they were seeing on the job site. There's about $250,000 worth of parts and pieces in this lab. We also have a couple of backnet trainers, so we're able to do some backnet classes to keep them up to speed on what's going on. This is our Pneumatics Lab. The basic electricity side of that lab was so popular we ended up having to expand it into here as well. I can assume that you all know what backflow prevention is. What we're doing in here is we're teaching the apprentices and journeymen about these devices and how to repair them. In this classroom, what we have is a couple of refrigerant recovery trainers and several of our split system trainers that one of our contractors designed and built for us. This is our start, test, and balance lab. This is where the apprentices are learning how to commission a building or to rebalance a building that has gotten a little bit out of whack due to additions or what have you. And then these devices here are a vacuum system and an instrument air system for a hospital. And we mimicked a small hospital in here with the different gases that they're using and a little operating room. So if you can see, we left the walls open so that you can see what it looks like on the back side of the operating room and the piping up above. These gases are not real, they're mimicked with compressed air. This is our classroom where we teach steam technology. This little trainer over here is an actual working steam system. The red pipe is the steam and the blue is the condensate coming back. And there's glass pipe in there so the apprentices can see what it looks like when it's changing state. And there's also cutaways of traps so they can see how they operate. This demonstrates what happens when a one-pipe steam system is undersized and it creates a problem with water hammer. The glycol in this system represents the condensate coming back, and as I introduce the air, that would be representing the steam. And when there's not enough room, it begins to create ripples, and when those ripples reach the top of the pipe, you'll see that it creates a big slug that moves very quickly through. If this was a closed system, there'd be a huge banging noise, like you'll hear when there is a problem in a building.
Did you get that, Mr. Bukay?
Yeah, okay, all right. I was just hoping I wasn't.
This is our rigging area where we just do a lot of different type of hands-on activities. At different times of the year, you might see these air handlers drop down, move to another section, lift it up, and then we'll pipe them, have the apprentices pipe them to a chiller and a boiler. Over in this area here, which we refer to as the sandbox, we're simulating an underslab condition so that the apprentices can learn how to do layout for plumbing and prep pipe for underslab conditions. This is our fixtures and repair lab. It's also where we teach our code classes, and the code classes are taught by the county inspectors. We feel that's real important because that way the apprentices and journeymen are getting their instruction from the people that are going to evaluate their work in the field. We have a very high success rate with the apprentices that begin here. It's over 85%, and it's not because it's easy. It's because we really work hard with them to make sure that they're successful and that they're learning what the expectations of the employers are. Do you guys have any questions about what you've seen so far?
What's the average age of apprentices in your program?
The average age of an apprentice in California is 28. The average age of a community college student in California is 28. The average age of a university student in California is 28. And that's when we start to see them when they're about 25. Well, yeah, 23, 24, 25. All of a sudden we start to get the applications at that time. They start out making about $20 an hour, and they get a benefits package. And then every 6 months they make a little bit more until they reach journeyman scale. They don't get paid to come to school, but they get paid for their day job where they're working. We want them to have 9,000 hours of training before they leave here on the job site, and they're getting about 1,008 here. We're going through and developing curriculum that goes right down to the level of daily lesson plans. There's actually a PowerPoint slide for every moment of class. This is the information kiosk that I told you about before, where you can get information packets about apprenticeship.